All right, module number 3, my favorite president, Thomas Jefferson, the red-headed wonder, also known as the pen of the American Revolution. Thomas Jefferson was our nation's first Secretary of State. He was our third president. He was the president that doubled the size of the United States under the Louisiana Purchase. Jefferson's most notable contribution to the ideals of freedom and liberty can be found in the Virginia Declaration of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Virginia Bills for establishing religious freedom. Daniel Dreisbeck's A New Perspective, it's not new, but anyway, A New Perspective on Jefferson's Views on Church-State Relations. It's an interesting read. He tells the story of Jefferson's 1777 draft of a Virginia statute, a bill for establishing religious freedom. The main tenet of Jefferson's statute was designed to eliminate religious mandates on worship and the direct subsidization of any particular religious denomination, as well as eliminating punishment for expressing dissenting religious beliefs. Jefferson's bill did not pass during the Revolutionary War, but James Madison would reintroduce Jefferson's bill in 1786, where several of Jefferson's bills became the law of Virginia. Jefferson's religious freedom bills established two primary legal precedents, which would later be adopted into the United States Constitution. One, the limitation of government to establish any particular denomination of religion, and the freedom to express religion. For over 160 years after the founders ratified the First Amendment, the establishment and free exercise clauses of the First Amendment limited the authority of government from infringing upon religious worship. So what happened, or who changed Jefferson's legacy on religious freedom? The answer is twofold: judicially active courts and postmodernist interpretations of Jefferson's writings. In 1947, Roosevelt's justices, his liberal justices, delivered their first landmark attack on Jefferson's religious freedom bill in the First Amendment, the Jefferson versus Board of Education ruling. This case became the first major broadened or implied interpretation of the constitutionality on church-state relations. Progressive and postmodernist historical positions on the politics of Jefferson's writings are taken out of context. For example, historian James Eckenrode conjectures his personal opinions of Jefferson's writings, stating, Jefferson's bill was the event that marked the end of the conservative effort to check and control the growth of democracy and the spread of liberal ideas. Number one, America is not a democracy. It was not created to be a democracy. Our system of government was founded as a constitutional republic designed to limit the power of the government, not limit the liberties of individuals or infringe upon the sovereignty of states. In 1947, instead of adhering to constitutional precedent, the Supreme Court cherry-picked or implied new meaning into Jefferson's 1786 religious freedom statute to fit a politically left-leaning narrative prevalent in politics for the time period. Reading the text of Thomas Jefferson's religious freedom bills tell a much different constitutional story than the Supreme Court told in 1947 in the Jefferson case. Jefferson's religious freedom bill was only one of 5 consecutive bills in Virginia's revised legal code addressing the issues of church and state. Jefferson's bills 83 through 86 are omitted from public discussion and court precedent. We must ask ourselves, why is there an omission of Jefferson's writings, and why do the courts, the media, and educational institutions violate Thomas Jefferson's legacy on religious freedom? Jefferson's bills 84 and 85 collectively read that states should encourage religion and morality within society as opposed to today's legal opinion on the issues of church and state. A point to ponder here about Jefferson and his writings and the courts and judicial activism. America's not had a conservative court, Supreme Court, since 1928. America's just one Supreme Court justice away from reestablishing Jefferson's religious civil liberties in the original meaning of the First Amendment as intended by Jefferson's religious freedom bills. Jefferson, most known for religious liberty in our nation, and his written words are the key. They're the key to reestablishing religious freedom in America.